Creativity is an addiction, but we need that addiction more than ever today because it's going to take creative people to move this planet forward. Do not give up on your creativity. Don't do it. It took creative people to get us here. It's going to take creative people to get us out of here. We need your creativity, and we have to understand what it's doing to you, okay? Call it what it is. It's an addiction. Unplugged because we will always say yes to creativity. Totally uncut because we all make mistakes. Turn it into a tool. This is Arroe Unplugged. I read a book a few years ago, and it's a book that I wish more people would read because it deals with the blind gorilla. And that's the name of the book, Blind Gorilla. You see, not everybody knows of this book because, if you weren't watching that episode of 48 Hours, then it's like, okay, well, how would I have ever known this book existed? But the blind gorilla, the experiences that take place around us, and we don't see it, even though it was right there in front of us, and we don't see it. And so much of that is going on right now. The thought of trying to process all that we consume is really an impossibility. We can be in the full view of the public, watching the flow of people. Something takes place, and the blind gorilla effect unveils itself. And someone asks, well, did you catch it? No, I did not. I did not see it. Because there's so much going on, be it with our social media, be it just with the junk that's inside our trunk. Awareness is the key to everything. Focus has got to be your every decision. Anything that moves has got to catch your attention. I don't want to fail because of the blind gorilla, which is why there needs to be more teams put into place. A second and a third set of eyes. Now go and try to sell that to corporate America. Hey, it's Arroe. This is The Daily Mess, a chronological walk through an everyday world. I am a daily writer. I write about what's going on in the now. What's happening in the present place of now. Not because I'm a historian, not because I'm a journalist. It's living in the presence of now. The one thing that we can control is what is happening right now. Not tomorrow, because tomorrow is many hours away, and not yesterday, because the story's already been written. This is The Daily Mess. Laying out the daily expectations is very difficult for me. It'd be so easy just to grab my Google Calendar and say, well, this is where you're going to be. This is what time you have to be there. This is how it has to last and all that kind of stuff. Being fair to yourself more than others is the battle that I face every day. And I'm not alone here because I know it's the same thing with you. You would rather give to others than give to yourself. Being fair to yourself more than others. If only we could just hear that on the inner core of our voices. How willing are you to share? How willing are you to hold back? How healthy is it to hold back? To keep from saying things? My father always told me, knock it off. Mind your own business. The laying out of the daily expectations involves a giant heaping hole of readjustment. You can't go into any project thinking 100% of the time belongs to you. No. The rule I play by is the 51-49 rule. 51% chance that everything that I have planned out is not going to become a reality. A 51% chance. The best way around it is to keep a paper trail. To document who and why you didn't succeed with other people's expectations. Being fair to yourself is admitting that you can't do it all. And no matter how hard you try to keep up, it feels like every step is a brand new reason to fall behind. Eventually, you're going to break. Gone is your passion. Whoop, there it goes. There goes your drive. The one thing that helps you stand out, the one thing that made you unique, to lend yourself forward. But because you weren't fair to yourself, that foundation crumbled. Self-confidence was ripped away. A need to believe was put on hold. The laying out of the daily expectations. Being fair to yourself more than others. That is not conceit. That is not overconfidence. If you aren't fair to yourself. Now, one of the things that I've been forced to do since this COVID lockdown, especially since the world is opening up more, and you may not have the same career that you once did. You may be running the life that I have, which is 5 different jobs, and you've got to sit there and juggle these 5 different jobs. I live a life of windows. And what I mean by that is that I do have my Google Calendar and I know what I'm supposed to do here, what I'm supposed to do there. It's all laid out. But what am I going to do on the in-between? And that is the important part of being fair to myself. I've got to have enough time to transition, to be able to go from personality to personality. How do you go from being a podcast host to being in customer service at a grocery store? Two completely different people. Two completely different levels of play and expectation. And do you think that they get along with each other, the podcaster and the person at the grocery store? I don't want to find out, because it's two different personalities and they use different sources of energy. I just know that in between, I have to be fair to myself more than others. Listening to the self that you are. Participating with the self that you are. Locating space for that self to have personal growth. We have to work as hard as we can because the rent is due. The food prices are up. Gas prices are up. COVID numbers are back up again. I had to wear the mask yesterday. No, wait. Hold on. I chose to put the mask on yesterday. And the reason why is because I heard that those who are vaccinated are still carriers. And I don't want that personality inside my mind, body, and soul to think that he's brought damage to somebody else because he didn't wear a mask. It's just me. Doesn't have to be you. No judgment call here. Laying out the daily expectations. Being fair to yourself more than others. If you're living the life of windows, don't break them. Understand them. I'm Arroe, and that's the Daily Mess.